Now, listen, you guys, it seems like people are questioning Spotify because of the recent alleged technical delays. I'm going to put that in quotes as they're questioning what exactly could be going on behind the scenes. And we're also going to be talking about Billboard being questioned for the double standards, when it comes to Advolvo BBL's rollout and promises to her fans if they do purchase, her album. We're also going to be discussing about this entire situation with Cousin Sloth. At this point, I do not know who is setting her up. Like, what's going on in her team? Why are these people doing this to her? We're going to talk about that, and we're also going to be discussing about Drake and this entire Funk Flex situation and how the double standards work when it comes to the music industry. When something is said by a man, it is taken seriously, but when a woman says the same thing, she is called delusional. We're going to discuss about all of that. Hello, tea lovers, and welcome to the Tea Plug. I trust you guys are doing well, and I trust you are doing great. Personally, I am doing great, you guys. I am doing extremely amazing. And without further ado, let us dive straight into today's tea. So, first of all, let us talk about Payola. I am talking about Spotify. It seems like, well, they recently experienced some challenges, and this is the statement that they put out. Let me read that first for context, and then I'll tell you what exactly is going on and why people seem to be complaining about them. Okay, so this is what they said. They said, we are currently experiencing a technical issue that is causing some delays to data like play counts and charts. Our team are on it, and in the meantime, keep on streaming. All your plays are being logged and will be updated once everything is back to normal. Now, whilst this may seem like an innocent technical issue on their side, a lot of people are convinced that actually there's something fishy that will be going on each time Spotify talks about some technical challenges and stuff. Because while people do have a theory out there that this is the time that they get to inflate the figures for certain artists, so that when they just once all of a sudden update everything, you're just shocked, like, okay, when did this artist climb up this chart like this? Because it will be just a sudden one time update, and it would be difficult for you to track that, well, from this day to that day to that day, how did that happen? So people were calling them out in their comment section, basically saying that we know exactly that Pacific is out there doing some things behind the scenes to manipulate a certain somebody's figures. And I don't know, you guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about these technical challenges from Spotify. Another school of thought that people have been presenting on the internet is that while they are cooking up and removing botting, seeing that Drake has got an issue with them, and Drake is involving them in his lawsuit. So some people were feeling like they're cleaning up the boats, hence the technical challenge situation. And also people have been alleging that Kendrick has been losing multiple listeners on Spotify since the beginning of this entire lawsuit. I have not researched into that. If there's any one of you who has, let me know in the comment section how far true are these allegations, or is it just stand Twitter where they just feel like, listen, let's make up these things or exaggerate. Now, one person that I did look into when it started happening was Dochi. Undoubtedly, she did lose a couple of listeners on Spotify. Anyway, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about, still talking about corporates. And my sincerest apologies. I just listened back to the first part. My microphone was acting up. I don't know what was going on. It appeared that I was holding it too close to my mouth. But anyway, let us continue. I'm not about to re-record that. Still talking about corporates. Let us talk about Billboard. They are also facing a lot of criticism and backlash because people feel like a certain somebody is out there manipulating the system. And if you guys do remember, during the Pink Friday 2 era, they took away allegedly 100K from Nicki Minaj's sales because, well, she had promised the Bumps to have the opportunity to be with her in studio if they bought their album copies. And for that reason, they were out there calling her and all of these things. So now Advovo BBL is coming through promising meet and greets as, her fans buy the album. And people are kind of looking at Billboard sideways, like, okay, what's happening with you? Because this is almost the same thing that you guys were out there threatening Nicki Minaj about, and threatening to penalize her, and allegedly took 100K from her sales for. But when it comes to this person, you're not doing anything. And I did see some people applauding her, saying that, well, it seems her team is smart for doing all of this, and I'm just like, okay, it seems like we're living in a world where integrity doesn't count for anything, fairness doesn't count for anything. And I think I'm going to stop complaining about that, because this is just the reality of the world that we live in. People just pick and choose who they want to police for certain things. So for that reason, it is what it is. I mean, these are the same people that will be shouting, if payola is so easy, why don't your favorite artist also go out of their way to pay people for play? And I'm like, ethics, integrity, and it seems like not many people stand on that. But anyway, let me know in the comment section, you guys, what you think about Billboard and everything that has been going on with Advovo BBL. Now, moving on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk about Cousin Sloth, okay? This is a conversation that I never thought I would have on this channel, because one thing about it, I've always praised Cousin Sloth for how her team has her moving, and how authentic and organic her come up has been, or at least how they try to make it look like it's organic. So for me to see this happening to her is really heartbreaking. I don't know if this is a setup. It has to be a setup. It cannot be her team that is behind this, because there is no way you can tell me that those people didn't know what that would do to her. I mean, I saw them doing something similar when it came to Dochi. They did it with lottery ticket. And especially when it comes to Dochi, it was kind of heartbreaking, because the girl is talented, to be honest. And to see them over push her onto people and put her in conversations that she's not supposed to, which ended up having an adverse effect on her career. That was heartbreaking, to be honest. And I really didn't like that, what they did with Dochi there, from the Grammys to, she was all over the place. They were literally oversaturating the internet, the platforms with her, to a point where people started feeling like, listen, this is becoming inauthentic. She is an industry plant. This is how people were now branding her. And it's sad to see that trend starting to happen with Cousin Sloth. She was doing so amazing. It started off with Charlamagne and that entire comparison with Nicki Minaj, setting her up for what, Charlamagne? Like, why were you setting this girl up? Because you know how ridiculous that conversation was. So at the end of the day, you weren't doing a favor to Cousin Sloth when you were out there comparing her with a legend like Nicki Minaj. Like, why were you setting this girl up? And at this point, I'm sorry, but I'm of the logic that someone somewhere who is not part of a team is out there sabotaging her, because you cannot tell me that she's been doing so well right now, even though people had speculations that she's been shady to Nicki Minaj, the post and delete situation, and all of these things. It was never a conversation about them pitting her against Nicki Minaj, and up to now, she's been doing great. She's been climbing up in her career, you know, as she should. And soon after that, I bumped into this other post from the Shade Room, which looked a lot like promo. And I'm like, who is coming up with this promo? Was this supposed to be a distraction for what Young Thug was out there saying on that leaked audio call? Like, jail call, I'm sorry. Because I don't understand. There's this post from the Shade Room which says, yeah, Glorilla makes history as the third female rapper with 6 number ones on mainstream R&B hip hop airplay chart. And you're putting this out in this climate where people are criticizing airplay and radio payola and stuff like this, and you're putting out a post like this. What type of PR is this? What is this? If these were sales, I would understand. And if she were like the number one, I would understand the update. But since when did people start, to update who's the third, who's the fourth? And right now, they didn't even talk about the first, the second, the fourth, or the fifth. It's just Cousin Sloth is now at the third. So is now the third, I mean. So at this point, I'm like, who is doing these things? And guess what? Guess what is in the comment section? It is people who are saying Nicki Minaj is going to be so mad about this. And guess what? They didn't read that, they said she is the third. So those people in the comment section that are now bringing up Nicki Minaj, they think that, well, she has been named the first. And after those people are mentioning Nicki Minaj and comparing it to Nicki Minaj, do you know what's going to happen? The bums are going to come swinging. And for what? Why are these people setting up this girl? I feel sad for her because normally when you see stuff like this starting to come out, it's not good in the long run, okay? And that being said, also, let's talk about the recent district towards Young Thug. At this point, who's advising Cousin Sloth? Is it your Gotti? Who is it? Because when it came out that Young Thug was talking trash about how she looks and stuff like that, I was one of the people who were like, listen, that's not cool. You're a guy, you're being weird. Why would you do that to Cousin Slothy? We love Cousin Sloth, you cannot do that. And she was the victim of this entire situation. And then she released the diss track. Unfortunately, throughout my Twitter, I've been seeing people who have been calling her out on the colorism. A lot of them were like, listen, you couldn't even diss somebody without talking about his complexion, because you were like, you burnt us ninja, you dug behind ninja and all of these things, and for what exactly? And so the reaction and the reception of that district is not cool at all, and it's not doing anything for her career. And in a climate like this, colorism is the last thing that you would want to be accused of, especially if you have not yet cultivated a strong fan base that can survive those allegations, okay? Put Young Thug aside. We have many other dark skinned women that are in the female rap industry. Dochi, for example, she's very dark skinned. How do you think she's going to feel when, she hears you referring to dark people as such? She may not address it right now. She may be forced to play it cool, but deep down, she's obviously going to react. And this is why it's better to come at someone for them as an individual than as a collective. And again, I don't know who's advising her. And again, she was wronged by Young Thug. I am not dismissing that. But yeah, it's rather sad. And it's so sad because at the end of the day, he was also calling her ugly because of her features, which is also featureism. But no one is talking about that anymore. Everyone is now talking about, oh, colorist, oh, this and that, oh, this and that, which is pathetic. So I don't know, you guys. Let me know in the comment section, what do you think is happening behind the scenes when it comes to Cousin Sloth? Who do you think is advising her, and what's coming? Is she trying to put out an album, or what exactly is going on? Because I do not understand all this chaos and this PR that really doesn't help, that is now surrounding her name. Anyway, let's move on to the next thing that we're going to be talking about. Let us talk about Funk Flex and what he had to say about Drake and everything that has been going on in the music industry. Drake from Canada, Beanie Man from Jamaica. Okay, I kind of cannot find the screenshot. Let me look it up quickly. Okay, I found it. So this is what Funk Flex said. He said Drake is 100% right. National play per song. Drake don't pay for play. And then he started listing down, I guess, the figures that are required for payola. He said pop radio 350K, urban radio 250K, mix show 100K, local mix show director 40K, local DJ 3K to 5K per song. DJs on the radio 5 days a week. This is why independent artists don't rise to the top. All you artists know, I ain't ever take a dime from you, your manager or your labels. BOM has no price, because YouTube will not realize exactly what we're talking about. They would think that we're talking about other things. So that's why I read that like that. And he said Thursday 7 p.m. Hot 97, let us discuss. So this is an industry insider admitting to payola. And I just want you guys to take a moment. For some of you who are out there calling others delusional when they bring this up, this is Funkflex. He is admitting and is even stating prices for payola. And some of you will still be in denial to say that these things do not happen. And as for the bunch of you that does believe that, why don't you just pay, and you don't have ethics or any integrity? I don't have any words for you, but this is a literal admission by someone in the music industry that this is what's happening behind the scenes. Let me quickly insert an audio of what Nicki Minaj had to say about payola and how crazy it is and how much it affects the perspective that people have about an artist's success. Because you guys have to remember that Billboard does include, of course, radio play and airplay when they are ranking the Billboard Hot 100. And this is how the industry is unfair, because imagine getting blackballed by radio DJs, and they're out there bragging about it. And, your music is not being played on radio, but your fans are buying and people are streaming your music. And then Billboard comes in to convince you just because this DJ or this radio station hasn't played this artist's song, then it's a trashy song. Meanwhile, these radio DJs and radio stations are playing songs that they are getting paid to play. So how is that fair? So basically, if you are an artist with integrity, ethics, and you do want to show authentic success, you're going to be ridiculed for it. Because there are others that are taking shortcuts, and instead of being held accountable, they are being applauded for. But my question is, when somebody comes to you as a DJ and they pay for their play, and then you look at each other in the face and you're congratulating each other like, oh, wow, you're so successful. Thank you for paying. I'm just imagining a conversation between Charlamagne the Dad and Advovo BBL. Like when they look at each other in the eyes, they're like, wow, you're so successful. I played your song because you are so successful, because you paid some money. Is that how the conversation goes? Like, I'm just thinking, how do you face each other lying to each other like this? Like, you know very well you're playing their song because you got money, but you have to lie to them that your music is so amazing and you're so talented and you're successful because I gave you so much airplay and now your song is #1 on Billboard. Congratulations for paying for play. It's ridiculous if you ask me. But then again, you guys, let me know in the comment section what you think about this. I don't know if I said I would insert the audio later or if I talked too much and I didn't insert the Nicki Minaj audio. But if not, I'm just going to insert it shortly after this. It's not very long. It's like a minute. But thank you very much, you guys, for watching. And let me know what you think about everything, the dynamics that are going on in the music industry. And of course, this notion of pay to play. Do you think that ethics do not matter in life? Are you somebody who walks with integrity, or are you someone who's like, listen, I do not care as long as something makes me look like I'm successful, or as long as something pushes my success, I don't care whether it's ethical or not. Let me know in the comment section what you think about that. And thank you very much, you guys, for watching. Thank you very much for making it this far. If you have not already, what are you waiting for? Smash that subscribe button and do turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified each and every time that I post. Do you guys see that we are back like we never left? Honey. Until my next one, see you.
Somebody showed me to this. Now, this is the last thing. One of my fans pulled up pulled something up and it says, wait a minute, this artist's song came out and it's not on Spotify, top Spotify, it's not on top Apple, it's not on top iTunes, it's not on top Amazon, but their radio play is 5 times what Nicki is getting. Why? And then 2-3 weeks from now, they'll tell y'all, look, this song is better than the songs Nicki dropped because see, it's so high on Billboard. So you're telling me that if an artist drops a song and clearly the people are playing it and it's top 10 on Apple for 2 weeks and it's top on Spotify and it's top, the radio can decide if they want to play that song or not. And then it makes that artist looks like, oh yeah, people ain't feeling your stuff. What does this all mean? People need to think about it. Because my fans have been talking about this saying, Nicki don't care about being on the radio. Why would an artist not want to be on radio? Use your brains. Use your brain.